Listen in to the Rotunda on Monday nights.
I'm kind of new to it.
Hear your host, Scott Rotundo, ask the hard-hitting questions.
How you doing tonight?
Engage in spirited debates.
Now, what's your favorite kind of wings? I'm more of like a Buffalo fan.
Tackling the important issues of the day.
I was reading in the Projo about you that it says you're a wing-eating champion.
That's the Rotunda, every Monday on 990WBOB.com.
We're going to have to put that on the list, man.
This is 990WBOB.com, the home of internet entertainment. From Rhode Island to the world, 990WBOB.com. 990WBOB.com is an independent free media outlet.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Rhode Island Red Radio here on 990WBOB.com. I am your host, Allan Gibberti. It's here that the facts that matter, it's not your feelings. It's good to be back, and I'm happy to bring you my very own family-friendly show. And just like with any traditional family, we have the occasional strained relationship with own members due to politics. I am, of course, talking about the LGBT community, and we have been known to be a little bit political. Joining me a little bit later will be Gregory Angelo, the current president of the Log Cabin Republicans National. We're going to talk some LGBT politics, everything from the left-pushing President Trump's anti-LGBT narrative, and also the rise in Republican LGBT candidates. Speaking of Republican LGBT candidates, also joining me will be A.J. Karazak, the Republican nominee for the House of Representatives in Connecticut, running for District 50. First, though, I wanted to talk about this widening divide, the divide that has occurred since the 2016 election. It started as usually does with the basic simple party lines drawn in the sand, and then it changed and became something much, much darker. It was commonplace to hear of family and friends no longer speaking to each other, and the attacks, the fake news, if you will, increased dramatically. It wasn't just against our duly elected president, but those who voted and supported him. Now, I need to put this into context to you to understand why, and one very simple, basic truth about the Democratic Party. They have lied to the LGBT community, and they continue to lie to the LGBT community. They've repeated the same lie that we're victims, and we will always be victims so many times that many of us have taken it for truth. Now, it's not just the LGBT community, but its supporters as well. All of them never questioning and never doubting. Friends I've had for most of my life have been gone. And you need to understand why that's important, because many of us when we came out to our families, it was terrifying. So terrifying that some of us actually had to make alternative living arrangements in case it didn't turn out the way we wanted. Now think about that. You are willing and about to bare your soul to the people you love and prepare ahead of time for your continued survival. It's not a good time. Unfortunately, for some of us, it was a smart move, but no man is an island. We need a sense of family and community. And the LGBT community was as welcoming as it could be, accepting, inclusive, and tolerant. And you can imagine my shock when the very community that once accepted you for you is now doing the very thing that brought you to them, turning their back on you, shutting you out, and demonizing you. Now, if you're able to think for yourself, question what you're told. If you are unwilling to conform to groupthink and be used as a pawn to further an agenda put forth by the Democrats themselves, in order to regain power and regain control over your lives, then you need not apply. Now, we all know what makes me gay, but what makes me a Republican? I stand for limited government, strong national defense, which includes a strong border. I oppose sanctuary cities, and I support ICE. I'm pro-life, but I oppose the idea of making abortion illegal. But I also don't want my taxes going to organizations that facilitate abortions. I'm for free markets, low taxes, personal responsibility, gun rights, and individual liberty. And I also support President Donald J. Trump and his agenda. And to quote from the Log Cabin Republicans, we believe in the LGBT Americans is the finest tradition of the Republican Party. We educate our party about why inclusion wins, and opposing LGBT equality is inconsistent with the GOP's core principles of smaller government and personal freedom. So now, these are my beliefs and these are my values. How should I have voted in 2016? Should I have voted for a candidate or a party that I knew would not represent what I stood for, simply because my community said that I should? Or should I vote my conscience? Well, we all know which what I did, because this is why I'm sitting here talking to you and not to my other liberal friends. So how to be gay and Republican? It's difficult in many ways, and I wanted to set some of it straight. No pun intended, of course. Now, the Trump and the anti-LGBT narrative has been in full smear mode. One of the things that they're perpetuating, which I woke up to earlier last week, was the recent change in the diplomatic visa policy. So I have tweets saying that I'm a traitor to my people because Trump is kicking out gay foreigners out of the country. Now, do you really think so? I mean, understand how stupid that actually sounds. My quick response early in the morning was 2015, gay marriage was legalized. This affects gay and straight people. And the response that I got? Liar. That was it. Just lie. Just brilliant. Just brilliant. So now here's the truth, and here's what they're not telling you, because every politician who is out there pushing the Trump hates gays thing is lying to you. If they are willing to purposely brand someone a homophobe and pick up a pitchfork, do some simple fourth grade school report research. It's not that hard. Liberals, the fake news, and LGBT right organizations began their assaults with headlines like the Trump administration will no longer grant visas to same-sex partners or diplomats. And then you have crying lion Chuck Schumer call the charge cruel and discriminatory. Surprised he didn't say it was un-American and start crying. It's all a load of Democrat crap. The policy change is actually designed to benefit gay American diplomats, and it's actually aimed at promoting gay rights around the globe. In 2009, then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, she directed the State Department to issue diplomatic visas to same-sex domestic partners and foreign diplomats in the United States, and she formally asked for reciprocity. But after the 2015 decision to legalize gay marriage, Secretary of State at the time then, which John Kerry, said that domestic partner benefits would be phased out. So what it was is diplomatic muscle flexing in favor of gay rights. So refusing to grant diplomatic visas to same-sex partners or foreign diplomats, the U.S. is sending a message that they should allow their gay diplomats to marry. Then you get the cry about it's not legal in their country. So if they don't, then they need to apply for non-diplomatic visas, basically also sending the message that your diplomats that you're sending over are second-class citizens according to your country. Now, what is important, too, this does not put gay diplomats at risk in their home country. The State Department promised that it's committed to working with affected individuals to find an appropriate resolution. And in reality, the application for domestic partner visas have always required the foreign government to provide a note or documentation in support of the application. And now, do you think that countries that support and supply such documentation would be the same countries that would punish gay diplomats for marrying someone outside their country in a same-sex marriage? I'm sorry, did you get that last part? Because most people didn't. The State Department formally announced that the same-sex partners of those diplomats will be granted diplomatic visas as long as they legally marry in a jurisdiction that recognizes same-sex marriage. They can get married here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take I'm going to get back to that because right on the line I have right now is Representative Patricia Morgan. Hello, Patricia.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am very good.
Good. Thank you for taking the time and giving us a call. It's been a while since we talked.
Yeah, it has been.
So now tell me what's the big question. What do you have going on since you endorsed Joe Trillo?
I did, yes. I seriously, I looked at all three candidates, and I, for myself, decided which one I thought would be the best governor, the strongest governor, the one that is most closer to what I believe in, how I believe government should run, and for me that was Joe Trillo. So yes, I did endorse him.
Now,
and I hope everybody looks at the different candidates. I mean, I think too many people nowadays look at what initial or what letter is after their name and don't look at their policies and what they believe in and, judge, is this the person that I want running my state? I mean, remember, governor is the leader of your state. So, it's important for you not just to look at the initial or the letter at the end of their name, but at the person, the individual, and say, is he going to do the job I want him to do, or her?
Right. Well, I mean, because I know that people are saying that, again, a vote for Trillo is a vote for Gina, and I mean, and the opposites could turn around and say, well, if you're voting for Fung, it's a vote for Gina. I know it can go either way depending on which camp that you're in. I know a lot of people.
And honestly, Trillo, he's in this to win it. He doesn't want to be a spoiler. He wants to be a winner. One thing I know about Joe Trillo is his whole life at least as long as I've known him, he's been there to win. He's not ever been there to lose. And he has had a very successful life. He brings a lot of good things to his campaign. He is a small businessman. He comes from a family of small business people. He interacts with the business community all the time, and so he really knows what the challenges are, what government does that hinders our business climate. We have a very hostile business climate here. He can fix that. He's also has a lot of strength. He's got a backbone. He's a fighter. When I was the chairman of the Republican Party, he and Bob Watson and Nick Gorham were called the Lions of the House, because they were up all the time debating and making points and trying to talk about the common sense principles and policies that I believe in and that I think will move our state forward. So he brings that strength, that backbone, that willingness to get in there and fight, and he knows how to fix things. He really is a guy who looks at a problem and tries to find the solution for it. So, for me, it was the right. He's the right person for the job.
I know that a lot of the people, like either whether it's the 2A community, they're concerned because they're afraid that again this is going to detract from votes for Allan Fung, and I know a lot of people but
Joe is pro Second Amendment.
Oh no,
too. I mean,
right. Oh no, I understand
right?
that. Mm-hmm. The point that I was going to, some people that I had spoken to, I mean, there are people who are, just very much, pro 2A. And then there are people who are pro 2A and say, pro-life. There are people out there that I think that several issues, so I think it's making it a little bit more difficult as opposed to one particular issue.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the social issues, I like Joe because he's a fiscal conservative. He's a businessman. He has strength. He's willing to fight for us. But on the social issues, I am pro-life. He is pro-life. And let me just explain that. I just don't think abortion should be considered a method of birth control anymore.
I agree.
When I was growing up, women didn't have a choice, right? There were no contraceptives. But today there are dozens of contraceptives that a person can choose, that a couple can choose. I know when I was running, I said, as governor, I'll make those contraceptives affordable and easily available. And that is Trillo's stance, too. I don't want to control somebody else's behavior. It's not what it's about. I just want them to take the proactive step of not getting pregnant. If they don't want to get pregnant, there's ways to stop that now. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I just don't think abortion should be considered a method of birth control.
Right. Oh no, I agree. Patricia, we need to take a break. Can you stay on the line? We'll get you on the other side.
Sure.
All right. Thanks. Okay, everyone, hang on. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Patricia Morgan will be right with us.
Smack dab in the heart of Cranston, Rhode Island, Buttonwoods Brewery is making well-hopped IPAs, simple yet sophisticated saisons, and unique and interesting barrel-aged beers. Head on down to 530 Wellington Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island, and have a fresh beer to see our good friend Ollie and I guess Morgan the brewer. That's Buttonwoods Brewery for the best in unique and local craft beer at 530 Wellington Ave, Cranston, Rhode Island, or online at buttonwoodsbrewery.com, the official brewery of 990 WBOB.
I'm voting in the midterm elections because my constitutional right, because my ancestors died.
To make it better for my children.
The women before me fought.
So we can remain free.
Helping your community out.
Midterm election.
I know every vote makes a difference.
My opinion matters.
I vote.
I vote.
I vote in the midterm election.
Register now on IamAvoter.com. And don't forget to vote Tuesday, November 6th.
Brought to you by I Am a Voter and the Ad Council.
New England's premier electrical contractor is Econ Electrical Contractors, focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. Licensed and insured in all of New England, Econ Electrical Contractors offers competitive quotes for residential and commercial work. Call Econ Electrical Contractors, 401-297-1844. For service upgrades, call 401-297-1844. For pools, spas, PV modules, and more, call 401-297-1844. Or check out econelectrical.net, leading the trade in quality workmanship. Econ Electrical Contractors. No job is too big or too small. Call today for a free estimate, 401-297-1844. Improve or upgrade the electrical work in your home or business safely, affordably, and as always, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Econ Electrical Contractors, 401-297-1844.
Do you ever get the feeling the news just doesn't make sense? Maybe you just want to crack open a couple of beers and
talk about the headlines of the day with a few competent minds. Do you like hearing a different spin on politics, entertainment, and even a little sports? This is Scott Rotundo. Tune into my show, The Rotunda, and you'll get all this and more every Monday night and also on demand at 990WBOB.com.
You're listening to 990WBOB.com, Renegade Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Rhode Island Red Radio on 990WBOB.com. I am your host, Allan. On with me on the line right now with me is Representative Patricia Morgan. Hello, Patricia.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
Hi. How are you? I'm glad you're back.
Okay, so I think the last thing we had left off on what I was trying to say, I know that, again, that there are people out there who are single-issue voters, and I know that there are people, and like you're saying, people who need to take multiple issues into consideration before.
So let me just look at that Second Amendment, because that's one that you talked about. I'm a staunch supporter of our Second Amendment rights. I know that Joe Trillo is as well. Honestly, the things that a governor can do in that respect, they can veto a bill, obviously, and they can use their bully pulpit. But can they stop a bill? Not really. And I want to tell the people in the Second Amendment coalition, all those bad bills that restrict our rights to have legal guns, they originate in the House of Representatives or in the Senate. So they originate in the General Assembly. And if you want to stop those bills from going forward, you really have to get legislators elected that are supporters of our gun rights. That's where the action on that is. A governor, they can veto the bill. No doubt about it, they can veto the bill. But the General Assembly, because we are so lopsided, there just aren't enough Republicans to stop it, the General Assembly could overturn a veto in a heartbeat. So you really have to get more legislators elected, more Republican legislators who are pro-Second Amendment to stop those bad bills from getting passed. Now, a governor, though, can also use their bully pulpit, and we've seen the Governor Raimondo, sign her worthless executive order and kind of lead rallies to restrict gun rights. So that's another important thing that a governor can do is, talk about law-abiding gun owners and why it's important for them to be able to have their to have their guns.
Right. Oh, no. Yeah.
But stopping bad bills, a governor really can't do it today because our legislature is so lopsided that even if a governor vetoes it, the assembly could overturn it just like that.
Right. And I think given last session, I can see them exactly doing that with even more fervor and being even happier when they do pass it.
That's right. So really, I really encourage all of your listeners who care about that issue to get out there and work for. We have some terrific candidates out there who are Republican and also some independents who will absolutely stand up for our rights.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I know, like even Darrell Gould, who's running against Jason Knight. I mean,
that's right. He's running as an independent or a libertarian, but yeah, absolutely. Right. Darrell Gould would be very good. And you have Dan Elliott and Mike Underwood and Mike Geary. Mike Geary is down in the Westerly area, Westerly, Hopkinton. Dan Elliott and Mike Underwood are up in Warwick. I mean, they're running as independents, but they understand the Second Amendment. They understand why it's important to preserve our rights, all of the rights that are in our Constitution.
Right. All right, Patricia. Actually, we need to get going. I have to get on some other stuff, and I think we have another break coming up too. But I want to say thank you now. So I know that people can follow you on Twitter. You're on @RepMorgan.
I am.
And Facebook, and anything else that you have going on that you want people to know about? Where can they find out?
Oh, no, I don't do Instagram and all that. I just don't have the time. But I certainly am on Twitter and Facebook, and would love to have them follow me.
All right, we will do. Thank you very much, Patricia. We'll let you get back.
Thank
I know
you.
you've got
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, everyone, that was Representative Patricia Morgan speaking basically on her endorsement of Joe Trillo. I wanted to get back to what I had saying before a little bit about the diplomats. So the last part I had left on is where the state diplomats from another country, they can marry here in this country, and then they will receive diplomatic visas. That's something that you didn't hear them talking about. Now, the other thing, though, is, do you know what comes with a diplomatic visa? Now, the foreigners from other countries here who have diplomatic visas, they pretty much have diplomatic immunity. They're immune from arrest, custom duties, and usually they cannot be searched or criminally prosecuted. Now, what does that mean for our gay diplomats and their partners overseas? They're the ones that they're legally married to. They get the same benefits. The policy, and this policy also forces those countries that have the anti-gay policies to take a long look at them, because it also gives the U.S. State Department leverage to use to secure visas for the same-sex spouses for our own diplomats and give them the same privileges. So the narrative that's been going around as to where Trump is now kicking out gay foreign nationals is absolutely false. The narrative that they're going to be persecuted when they get sent back to their home country, again, is absolutely false. This is just more a narrative to go ahead and push the anti-LGBT agenda, and unfortunately my community has been a willing participant of a lot of it. Some of the other things as far as correcting the record from the Trump administration, let me see here, because I have a heck of a list, and I just want to get to just a couple of those things here. Let me see. So one of the things is, let's see. Oh, the other thing that actually had happened that I had tweeted out earlier, which was what I was looking for, is that now Trump has appointed a second openly gay judge to the Court of Appeals, one of them being in San Francisco. So if he gets nominated, he will be the second openly gay judge. The first one was, and I'm scrolling down because this was out in the thing today, was Mary Rowland, a federal magistrate. She was nominated to the district court in Illinois. So we've already got two of those, and I don't know if many of you know about Ambassador Richard Grinnell. He is the U.S. ambassador to Germany, and actually the other night, the pastor who was released from Turkey, he was the one of them to greet them. So the whole anti-LGBT thing, not so much. We're going to take a break. On the other side, we've got some more stuff for you, and coming up is Gregory Angelo from Log Cabin Republicans. We'll see you in a bit.
Sir over here from 990WBOB.com's a franchise. Here to let you in on a little secret. You see, for years now, whenever I'm shopping for a new ride, I always visit my boys over at King Philip Motors. Conveniently located at 391 Metacom Ave in beautiful and historic Bristol, Rhode Island. King Philip Motors has a wide inventory of gently used cars and trucks. Check them out online at kingphilipmotors.com. Or give my friend John a buzz, 401-323-7853. Mention 990WBOB.com sent you and enjoy the savings. That's King Philip Motors in Bristol, Rhode Island, or online at kingphilipmotors.com.
Inspire the inner graphic
artist in you. Everyone can become a professional designer with PhotoJet's graphic design tool. Whenever you feel inspired, you can always create awesome designs with massive templates from posters, flyers, cards, and invitations. PhotoJet meets all your needs to create graphic designs, make collages, and edit photos. Check them out at photojet.com today. With only a few clicks, anyone can create professional artworks even without any experience. Powerful design and editing tools enable you to achieve high-quality results quickly without any hassles. All for free. That's right, free at photojet.com. No download or registration required, effortless and time-saving. Design like a pro today at photojet.com.
Hey, fight fans, head on over to CESMMA.com. Read detailed profiles of CES MMA fighters, catch up on past bouts, read about upcoming fights, purchase tickets, even check out their lovely ring card models and more. The leading MMA showcase in the Northeast is CES MMA, featuring the best combatants at the best venues. Stay connected and feel the power. CESMMA.com. We put the class in combat sports.
Smack dab in the heart of Cranston, Rhode Island, Buttonwoods Brewery is making well-hot IPAs, simple yet sophisticated saisons, and unique and interesting barrel-aged beers. Head on down to 530 Wellington Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island, and have a fresh beer to see our good friend Ollie and I guess Morgan the brewer. That's Buttonwoods Brewery for the best and unique and local craft beer at 530 Wellington Ave, Cranston, Rhode Island, or online at buttonwoodsbrewery.com, the official brewery of 990 WBOB.
You're listening to 990WBOB.com, Renegade Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Rhode Island Red Radio on 990WBOB.com. I am your host, Allan Gibberti. Coming up, we will be having Gregory Angelo, president of Log Cabin National, joining us. I just wanted to finish up a little bit more, setting this record straight on the Trump administration and the whole LGBT issue things. Now, I had mentioned now we're up to 2 other judges that he had appointed. If the second one gets confirmed, we'll have 2 openly gay that Trump has nominated. Also, one of the things that President Trump got rid of protections for the LGBT federal employees. No, he didn't, and it was reported by several of the LGBT activist outlets, citing sources which said it would happen, and again, it has not. What else I see? The Religious Freedom Executive Order to allow business discrimination against gay people. No, it's another false alarm sounded by the LGBT activist media that never actually happened. It does not give exemption to religious groups to discriminate against gay people as a matter of conscience, and going up against many individuals actually had hoped for. Now, again, that refers to the Colorado baker, where the decision came back in favor of the baker. And it was said it wasn't really narrowly decided, and each case is going to be decided on an individual basis. So it's not like they had just said, yes, it's okay that we can go ahead and discriminate against gay people. The only other thing that I wanted to mention here, so actually, did you know that Donald Trump, as a citizen, supported same-sex unions all the way back in 2000? Again, it's kind of like a Dean Cain thing of supporting gay people in same-sex marriage before it was fashionable. and also that Trump was one of the first club owners in the 80s which allowed openly gay people, which allowed openly gay people entry, which was in violation of Florida law at the time. So, as you can see, that the LGBT movement in itself is having a bit of a identity crisis. It's lost. After the Supreme Court ruled in marriage equality in 2015, a lot of people kind of found that they were looking for something else to fight for, because, I mean, when you've pretty much got marriage equality and equality across the board, which is going on at a pretty good clip, you start to think of, okay, well, what are we going to do now? So our biggest political battle was won. One of the things that they could be doing, instead of bashing Trump and saying how much he hates gay people and my concentration camp is waiting, is focusing on gay marriage that is apparently only legal in 25 of the world's 195 countries. And in 70 countries, gay people can still be imprisoned, tortured, and killed just for being gay. Never mind being in a same-sex relationship. But nobody talks about that because that doesn't push an agenda. We could be doing something about the kidnapping and the torture and the murder of gay men in Chechnya. Yes, the kidnap, murder, and torture of gay men in Chechnya. Most people haven't even heard about that. They are detained in concentration camps, murdered, and pretty much tortured. Where's the media on this? Where are our elected officials who are decrying the new diplomatic visa policy? Why aren't they up in arms over this? I think someone should go and ask David Cicilline. Now, I know a lot of people in the LGBT community who are Republican. I mean, heck of us, those of us who is like right of center, voted for President Trump, suddenly found ourselves on the outside looking in. And many of us didn't know we were ousted until after the fact. We didn't realize that we were pariahs until, we tried to meet up with our friends and, you know what? You betrayed your people. Go away. But we held on to our principles, and like I said before, no man is an island. So we found and maintained friendships online through Facebook, and we found a lot of members of the LGBT community, and we started to connect. So while the anti-LGBT narrative storm raged, and we continued to connect, we continued to network, and we began meeting up and with other conservative groups. And not just conservative groups, but like allies of the LGBT community. And yes, Republican gays, we do have allies, many allies. And like before 2015, when we were all striving for equality, we came together and we started making ourselves known. Now, one of the things that we were going for back in 2015 is we were looking for equality. We were looking for an equal playing field, the same rights that everyone else had, the good and the bad. We didn't want special rights, which is apparently what I think the left is trying to do, is trying to decry and say, we need to not just make gay people and other minorities equal, we need to elevate them to a certain status. And while the era of political correctness is ending, thank God, should I be afraid of referring to myself in a way that will not just offend someone in my community, but someone outside of my community who gets offended for me? I mean, now come on, give me a break. That's never going to happen. And quite frankly, if you get that offended, I say it's high time you take your testicles out of your purse and you walk like a man. Just stand up, be who you are, and stand up for the truth, not the rhetoric of a liberal mob. Oh, well, yeah, that's right. No, we're not supposed to say the mob word. It's the M word now. So we have the C word, the F word, the N word, and now we've added the M word. What are we, 5? The Democrats, they've created so much chaos that they've had their own little walk-away movement, while those remaining in the Democratic Party remained and doubled down on the half-truths and the outright lies. The hypocrisy, it's so blatant, like they don't even care. And Hillary said it herself. I mean, they can't be civil after, they will be civil after they regain power. Really? Like that's acceptable? I'm going to be a little brat just until we get our way, and then we're going to talk to you again, because that just sounds wonderful. I think someone should start a runaway movement, because I have a feeling it's going to get a lot uglier the next few weeks as this storm builds. But you know what? I honestly, I just say let them, because more and more people are seeing them for what they are: hypocritical, opportunistic liars who don't really care about you. And if you think the LGBT community, if you think David Cicilline is your champion, I suggest you raise the bar. If you think Jim Langevin, Representative Knight, or Teresa Tanzi care about you, you're wrong. If these people are willing to lie to you to get your vote, I mean, how much do they honestly really care about you? One of the actually, before I go on with that thought, I have on the phone Gregory Angelo, president of the Log Cabin Republican, joining us. Hello, Gregory.
Hey, Allan. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
No problem. Thank you for joining us. I just spoke to you a little while ago.
Yeah.
So now you are the president of the Log Cabin Republicans National.
That is correct.
And I think our exposure here in Rhode Island, I think we've been fairly new and a little bit active lately. For those of us who know, what your take on what are the Log Cabin Republicans?
Well, it's pretty simple, really. Log Cabin Republicans are members of the LGBT community who are affiliated with the Republican Party, and it's also bears mentioning straight allies who are Republicans, who are allies of the LGBT community. I often joke, we don't discriminate at Log Cabin Republicans. If you are a Big Tent Republican, if you are a member of the LGBT community or a straight ally of the LGBT community who also believes in conservative principles like individual liberty, a strong national defense, and freedom, then you are and have a home in Log Cabin Republicans.
And that's pretty much kind of, I think, one of the reasons I found my way over there. Now, we've been getting some pushback. I know some of our chapters in San Francisco recently during the Castro Fair had some issues with Antifa.
Yeah, and it's not. I think you're being too kind when you say that our chapters are getting some pushback. Our chapters are physically, literally getting pushed by left-wing thugs who do not feel that members of the LGBT community can be conservative or should be conservative or can vote for the Republican Party or can identify with a party that they see more in common with than they do the Democratic Party. To them, they see the LGBT Republicans as a great threat to them. They see people in the LGBT community who are thinking for themselves, Allan, who, much like you and I, right, who have come to our own individual conclusions about which political party in the United States represents us and our interests best. And hey, look, I think there's a great diversity of thought within the LGBT community. I don't think that we should be just single issue voters, and it's the fact that we're not is the reason why I think largely we have LGBT Republicans in the first place. But when it comes to the left, and especially the LGBT left, for them there can be no dissent. And it's not just a matter of politely disagreeing with people on the other side of the aisle. We're at a moment in time right now where members of Log Cabin Republicans are being physically attacked and targeted for violence just because of our political affiliation. And you know, it's really dangerous. As you mentioned, you know, there's the Castro Street Fair that Log Cabin Republicans has participated in San Francisco for, to my knowledge, decades.
Right.
And there's never been an incident like the one that we had just I believe it was last weekend or 2 weekends ago. So, you know, the same radical violence that you're seeing Antifa and people who are affiliated with them engaging with Republicans at, you know, sadly, Log Cabin Republicans is not immune to that same type of violence from left-wing thugs.
Right, and I mean, and I know like that the whole narrative as to where they're pushing that the Trump administration and the president himself pretty much hates gays, hates the LGBT community. And I mean, I know from my own personal experience, anytime anyone says anything like that, and I try to, just like with this last thing with the diplomatic visas, when I try and say, well, no, here's what's happening, It's almost like an immediate response of just anger. There's no thought process.
Yeah, I mean, what I often say, what we're experiencing right now in real time is the greatest case in my lifetime of confirmation bias that I can remember. You have people on the left, especially the LGBT left, who are just convinced that Donald Trump is the most anti-gay bigot that they have ever seen. Even though nothing in Trump's past points to that, they conveniently overlook the fact that he's attended a same-sex wedding, for example, held up a rainbow flag while he was campaigning, historically, for the first time in history, as the nominee of any political party in the United States, referenced the LGBTQ community. He did that before Hillary Clinton, I would add, who did it several weeks later at the Democratic convention. But he appointed Richard Grenell, an openly gay individual, to be an ambassador to Germany. And just today, Allan, I would point out to your listeners that you can check out our social media. I think Log Cabin Republicans of Rhode Island even helped to push this out. If you go to twitter.com/logcabingop or facebook.com/logcabingop, you'll see that Trump just nominated an openly gay Filipino American to be a judge on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals of the United States. This would be, if he's confirmed, and I hope he is, his name is Patrick Bumate, someone who I've personally actually known for years. He's a fantastic nominee. But if he's confirmed, he would be only the second openly gay, I believe, circuit judge in the United States today. All this stuff is historic and shows that Donald Trump is no anti-gay bigot. But when it comes to a left wing that is convinced of and cannot be convinced of anything but the fact that Trump is anti-gay, they will twist any sort of news that they get, even if it is just rumor and innuendo, and run with it. Push it out on social media and twist the truth. I mean, you're talking about, like, I guess in an earlier segment you talked about the visa policy. This visa policy that essentially just equalizes heterosexual and same-sex marriages among diplomats from other countries within the United States is a policy that was initiated by Secretary John Kerry in 2015 when Barack Obama was still president of the United States. And I didn't hear a peep about this 3 years ago. But now that this policy that was initiated by Barack Obama, that was implemented by John Kerry, is actually formally being realized, well, now it's just proof that Donald Trump is anti-gay. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the most dangerous part of it is that, as you point out, it's leading to not just inflamed rhetoric, but really physical violence now with people on the left that are targeting Republicans with physical harm because they're getting so ginned up about what is, dare I say, fake news.
Right. And I hate the term fake news, because I mean that's pretty much what it is. It's half truths. Like when you were a kid, it's like, well, were you good today? Yes, I was, but I'm not going to tell you what actually. You know what I mean? That kind of a thing. A lie of omission is still a lie.
Yeah, trust me, I'm reluctant to use the phrase fake news as well, because I think it's often overused. But I'm more fond of the phrase frivolous news, right? Where and I think that more accurately describes what you're talking about, where media and people who are pushing things out onto social media, especially people who have tens of thousands of followers, are pushing out information that is only half truths, that doesn't tell the full story, but it doesn't matter at that point, because people, the clickbait headlines are out there. People are already believing what the stories that they're reading without getting a full picture. And by the time a news outlet actually has the chance to revise a story or print a correction, the damage has been done. Yeah. Right? Like the hysteria has already been initiated at that point. And these news outlets feel as though they've washed their hands of any wrongdoing because, they issued a correction that maybe got 100 retweets, where the initial, headline that they're still going around out that's designed to get clicks is still going around, and the corrections retweeted 100 times, but the original story was retweeted tens of thousands of times, And at that point, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, right? This is the media landscape that we're living in today. And it's especially difficult, I would add, when it comes to misreporting and frivolous news when it comes to stories that directly impact the LGBT community in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the world that we live in right now, and I say right now because I'm hoping it's going to get better. And actually, I think it will after the midterms. Now, you've been president for 6 years, and you are now stepping down.
That's right. Yep, I'm going to be here at Log Cabin Republicans National for, I believe, about another month or so. But yes, I was actually announced as going way back interim executive director of this organization in December of 2012. Started in January of 2013, and just coming to the end of my 6th year here at heading our national organization. It's been a great 6 years, but it was always my intention when I started this position in 2013 to do this job at least for, but no more than 6 years. And I know that whomever the National Board of Directors chooses to succeed me is going to do a stellar job, and I'm staying on board to make sure that person is set up for success, and the strides that we've made over the course of the past 6 years are allowed to continue, and that I'm able to move on to the next chapter of my professional career.
Well, I personally want to thank you. It's been fun. It's been interesting, and I'm sure it's going to continue to be. And I'm still going to bug you even when you're now officially going to be off the clock. But I want to thank you.
That's fine. We can do a lot more socializing.
Yes, we can.
At that point.
I want to thank you. We do have to run. We're going to have to take a break, but I want to thank you for taking the time and educating us on and giving some of your opinions and your views on this.
My pleasure, Allan. I'm happy to come on anytime.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, everyone. That was Gregory Angelo, president of Log Cabin National. We are going to take a break, and we will be right back.
I'm voting in the midterm elections because my constitutional right, because my ancestors died.
To make it better for my children. The women before me fought.
So we can remain free, helping the community out. Midterm election.
I know every vote makes a difference. My opinion matters.
I vote.
I vote. I vote in the midterm election.
Register now on iamavoter.com. And don't forget to vote Tuesday, November 6th.
Brought to you by I Am a Voter and the Ad Council.
In the wake of a disaster, what one thing can you send that will help people the most? A blanket, a tent, a sandbag, a doctor. Actually, if you send a monetary donation, you send all these things. Even a small donation can make a big impact and can quickly become exactly what people affected by disaster need most.
In the wake of a hurricane, your monetary donation can make a huge difference to those in need. To donate, visit supporthurricanerelief.org. That's supporthurricanerelief.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Attention vintage
Car owners, sell your classic today. Classic experts in Fall River, Massachusetts will beat any offer guarantee, any condition, no title, no problem. Nationwide pickup, and they'll even pay $1,000 for referrals. Send your classic car photos to sales at CLASSICXPERTS.com. Call to speak with a professional buyer at 1-888-886-6335. That's 1-888-886-6335. Sell your classic ride today at ClassicExperts.com. That's ClassicXPERTS.com.
Conveniently located in the heart of Cranston, Rhode Island, Park Wine and Spirits has or will help you find wines, spirits, beers, and cigars that fit your taste. Whether you collect fine wines, love craft beer, or simply enjoy a glass of your favorite adult beverage from time to time, stop by Park Wine and Spirits. They have you covered. The weekend starts at Park Wine and Spirits, located at 1375 Park Avenue in Cranston, or online at parkwineandspirits.com.
You're listening to 990WBOB.com, Renegade Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Rhode Island Red Radio here on 990WBOB.com. I am your host, Allan Gibberti. I want to thank Representative Patricia Morgan, who was with us earlier. And I also want to thank Gregory Angelo, current president of Log Cabin Republican National. I guess also kind of in a way my boss when I'm not here on the air. We've been trying to hook up now AJ Karazak. We've been trying to hook up with him, but we've been having a little bit of an issue, so I will get him on for next week. So I wanted to just kind of continue a little bit more with what I was saying about the whole Trump agenda, the anti-LGBT left agenda, and it isn't so much that he has the LGBT community in his pocket, and it's not all of us, but I do believe a lot of the extreme leftists are out there as well. Unfortunately, also with them are the extreme leftists groups who are supporting them, and some of our more leftist extreme elected officials as well. I think it's a sad time as to when we turn on themselves. Now, I had said before, I had been called a self-loathing homophobe, and then someone the other day referred to me as a gay Uncle Tom, which I then turned around and I said, so would that make me an Auntie Tom? Which really kind of pissed him off. He didn't think that was funny. I thought it was kind of hysterical given the situation, but also I think I think you can be gay and you can have a sense of humor. The other day, my friend, she's a lesbian. It's important to the story. She called me up, said she had to go to the market. She wanted me to go with her. Actually, it was a department store. She had to pick up some coat hangers, and it was a good chance for me to meet her new girlfriend. And she said small doses, and it wasn't actually meant for her. It was kind of more directed at me. We went to the store. We were going to go pick up some hangers. She grabs a shopping cart. I'm thinking, all right, she's grabbing some hangers. She fills the shopping cart all the way up with hangers. She probably had, I think it was like 15 bundles of hangers. And I looked at her, and before I could say anything, it came out of my mouth. I was like, is there possibly this much flannel in the entire world? Well, we laughed. I thought it was hysterical. Her new girlfriend, not so much. I actually probably could have seen that one coming. So I'm not sure exactly when our next group date is going to be. I think it is going to be a little bit of time. And even if a friend makes an appearance, I wouldn't waste my time. But basically, so I wanted to say a lot of my friends were Democrats before the 2016 election, because at the time, my political affiliation, it wasn't really an issue then, and it does help put things into perspective as to what I believed in before was okay as long as they got what they wanted, but now it's an issue because they're having a temper tantrum. So the Democrats, they've segregated, divided, and categorized us, and they focused on what makes us different, just to emphasize our victimhood, to prove, well, it's the big old scary white man up there who's keeping us down. And people love to scream white privilege at the drop of a hat. I just want to say that I have a certain type of privilege that has been forced upon me that I never actually really asked for. And it was forced upon me by the Democrats and the liberals, the unhinged ones screaming to the night sky since 2016. I believe that I am afforded new leeway as to what I say and what I can do. Because basically, I'm afforded a certain freedom, I think, as to what comes out of my mouth simply based on, well, what I put in my mouth. And I'm going to run with it. I'm gay, I'm a minority, and I'm a Republican. I'm a liberal's worst nightmare, and I'm getting started. So, basically, folks, with that, I'd like to conclude this episode of Rhode Island Red Radio. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And if not, I hope at the very least I helped made you think. So remember to tune in every Monday night at 7 for Rhode Island Red Radio. Right here on your home for Renegade Radio, 990 WBOB.com. Stick around. The Rotunda with Scott Rotundo is coming up next. I'm Allan Gibberti. Have a good night.
Looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in. Heaven knows I tried. Don't let them in. Don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel. Don't let them know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what that you say. Let the story run. The phone never bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the things that once control me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do. Time to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Stay. Let the story
The preceding program contained views, opinions, and thoughts that do not necessarily represent those of 990 WBOB, its management, or its staff. So now you know.